What's up, guys? Welcome back to another stream. Today we have a lot of stuff to talk about regarding the Ahsoka finale, suffering a worse loss than The Mandalorian Season 3, which is saying a lot because Mando Season 3, in my opinion, really deviated from the trajectory that made Mando Season 1 and Season 2. Despite a strong start and impressive debut, Star Wars Ahsoka ended its first season on a less impressive note, experiencing a 40% drop in viewership compared to The Mandalorian's third season finale. Now, The Mandalorian is kind of, I think, appeals to a broader audience of people. I think Ahsoka appeals to a much more, I'd say, fanatic group, bigger fans, I would say, because they watch Rebels, they watch Clone Wars, you know, they're going for Ahsoka, and not many regular people know about Ahsoka. I can understand that the appeal isn't really as high for Ahsoka and other stuff than it is for The Mandalorian. However, The Mando Season 3 dropped tremendously, in my opinion. I really didn't enjoy it. I thought it was pretty garbage. Ahsoka's reliance on prior knowledge of Star Wars, the Clone Wars, and Rebels made it less welcoming to new fans, resulting in a decline in viewership as the series progressed. Despite the drop in viewership, Ahsoka still resonated with older fans who appreciated the show's animated roots and callbacks to Star Wars lore, showing that the series is in good hands with Dave Filoni. Despite Star Wars Ahsoka getting a tremendous start with a stellar two-part debut on Disney+, recent analytics suggest the show ended on a far less impressive note despite pulling out all the stops for its first season. And they did, right? They brought back Anakin, they had Clone Wars flashbacks. There was a lot of really good exposition, you know, with Baylan and Shin. But once again, I feel like, you know, the ending to the season was just so weak. It was just so lame, in my opinion. I think, you know, like Thrawn gets away, okay, cool, but then Ahsoka's like happy because she's on the planet, and they're happy because Ezra got away and is free. Like, all right, fair enough. But at the same time, like, we don't really see the impending doom because we know, okay, Thrawn just wants to go ahead and repopulate essentially Dathomir. But what are the implications? We didn't really learn what's in those caskets. We didn't learn what the implications are of respawning Dathomir. It really started strong until episode 6. Once episode 7 and 8 hit, I was like, this is just kind of not really as exciting anymore because it's just taken away so much of the build-up. In a recent post on social media, Samba TV delivered disappointing news. Okay, and so we want to get the numbers for Nielsen because that's a little more accurate in my opinion. Disappointing news through an infographic highlight the Ahsoka finale's viewership numbers. The post reads, the finale of Ahsoka landed on Disney Plus last week to 863,000 US households watching. If you think of it, that's really not that much. So for example, my breakdown for The Mandalorian, those were it hitting over 1.1 mil easy. Just the breakdown. Now you can imagine all the people who are watching Mandalorian aren't coming for breakdowns on YouTube, right? So you can see there's a much bigger market there that was watching Mandalorian Season 1 and Season 2 than the Ahsoka show. And I think a lot of this comes with not Star Wars fatigue, but rather Star Wars betrayal, in my opinion. People are not feeling as loyal to Star Wars anymore as they once were. And I think that this is all of Disney's fault. It's really their lack of vision when it comes to creating engaging content that really harkens back to George Lucas's legacy and the continuing the characters. And namely, I gotta go back to it because that's where the problem lies, is the sequel trilogy. I really feel that that's where the problem is. I don't think, you know, people are sexist or hating the sequels because of, you know, there's some sort of agenda or whatever that they're not falling in line with. You know, look at the Ahsoka show, for example. There's so many positive fans out there that hate the sequel trilogy but yet love Ahsoka. Also, the Ahsoka show doesn't shit on old characters like Anakin Skywalker or whoever else to bolster the new ones. That's why a lot of fans, I think, have become so disillusioned with Star Wars going forwards, and you see numbers like this, which are really unfortunate because, dude, I want Star Wars to succeed. I want it to win. Older millennials tuned in at the highest rate to watch whether Thrawn made it off Peridia. Samba TV Insights, Ahsoka Tano, Star Wars. This means that despite the Ahsoka premiere beating The Mandalorian Season 3's kickoff, the spin-off show ended the season down by 40% compared to the latter show's third season finale. That's rough. This was a major viewership loss for Ahsoka, which debuted on Disney Plus with 1.2 million households and then proceeded to ramp up the fan attraction with live-action debut and callbacks in each new episode, ending on a high note by debuting an iconic location in live action for the Ahsoka finale. While the viewership numbers are not terrible, the downward trend indicates how many fans dropped off throughout the show's first season. While The Mandalorian was much more well-worn and started its third season with less fanfare than Ahsoka, it drew an audience of 1.4 million households within the first few days of its final episode being on the streamer. So according to Samba TV, Mandalorian Season 3 concluded with 1.4 million US households tuning in to watch its first 5 days on Disney+. That's a decline of over 500,000 households. More specifically, it is a loss of 537,000 households. That's a decline of 38%. Man, it's just constantly declining, dude. It's like, why is everything going down? You gotta sit there and you gotta ask yourself and you gotta wonder, like, okay, sequel trilogy, yes, this and that, blah, 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 blah. But we really gotta look at it. What's the story like going forwards? We're not really focusing on the Skywalkers anymore. We're not focusing on the main characters anymore. We're focusing on ancillary characters that were created once George left, essentially, you know, except for Ahsoka. But I mean, look, Ezra, Sabine, all these dudes. Let's be real. Yes, they're interesting characters, but nobody really cares as much as The Mandalorian, for example, because it's a fresh new take. But The Mandalorian wouldn't do nearly as well because it's being carried by Baby Yoda. With the season in rear view, it is now undeniable that Ahsoka was not welcoming to new fans as previously promised by Dawson, with every major plot point and set piece in the series so far requiring knowledge of and emotional investment in Star Wars Clone Wars and Rebels to understand or fully appreciate. It's very true. Look, there's going to be a lot of people like you and me who want to come in there and watch the show, and we have so much background knowledge and information on Star Wars lore beyond Clone Wars and Rebels. And so for guys like us and girls like us, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be, yeah, like I'm totally down for that. But for the regular Star Wars fan, which appealed to the, you know, Mandalorian fans because of cute Baby Yoda and the fact that Mando is a new character, there is so much of a broader audience and target market there. Whereas we don't have that as much. It's much more fine point with Ahsoka. Yeah, the numbers are going to be less. It doesn't necessarily mean the show was bad. It just means that you're not appealing to all of the audience that you could be, which in my opinion is kind of what you need to focus on, is that you need to focus on all of the characters that you had before. Throw in Luke Skywalker, throw in the Mandalorian. If they really want to bring in a lot of views, they need to play cheap, and they need to bring in some of the characters from the old stuff and their other shows to really bring in all the audiences, right? It's like Avengers Endgame. The fans for Ezra and Sabine are nominal compared to Ahsoka, which is nominal compared to Darth Vader or Obi-Wan Kenobi, right? Which is on par with Yoda, but Baby Yoda brings in the cash because he's cute, but also he's Yoda. I think if they wanted to see a higher viewership with Ahsoka, give us a little more something with Balin and Shin. At the end there was nothing. Nobody's gonna know what that means except for us from Clone Wars and Rebels. So yeah, you know, I don't really take these numbers into that much of a effect of what happened with the decline. I take it more as like, okay, there's really just a core group of fans, right? It's like when Star Wars is super dead and I make a video that's like kind of boring. Like it's not really something that like everyone will watch, like Anakin or Darth Vader or the newest show. It's something like lore, right? Like deep, dark lore. There's only going to be like maybe like 40,000 people at most that will watch, sometimes 30,000. Those are the core fans, your core group. Those are the people that will watch your stuff all the time because they're like old school Star Wars fans. But the stuff that applies to a lot of people, the stuff that gets the big views, you know, hate bait, rage bait, clickbait. I don't look at like a video, let's say, that performs poorly, and I compare that with a show. If it performs poorly, the numbers aren't as high as some other numbers. It just means that there's more of a core audience interested in that, whereas overall audience isn't as interested. And they're like, well, yeah, I'll pass on that one. I'm not really too interested in that. I'm going to focus on something else until something I really care about comes out, you know, Baby Yoda, this and that, right? Despite this disappointing news, Ahsoka left a lasting impression on older fans who were in step with the show's animated roots and callbacks to expansive Star Wars lore. If nothing else, the season was a treat for those in the show. Ahsoka proved the Mandalorian movie is in good hands with Dave Filoni, yes, which showed love and understanding for the franchise that is uncommon even among the most dedicated showrunners. I do believe that Dave Filoni is the guy to take this show to the next level and take it where we need. Yeah, let me know what you guys think about everything, the viewership numbers dropping and all that stuff. So I want Star Wars to succeed first and foremost because I'm a fan, and then second because of the channel. I want the channel to obviously thrive, and I want to connect with you guys, and I want us to be happy. I don't want us to bitch all the time. Love you all. Hope you have a great day. Leave a like on the video. Check out my other channels if you so wish. I really love my other channels. And I will see you all in the next episode on Star Wars Theory. Until then, remember, the Force will be with you always. I want to give a big shout out to my other channels. I'm going to start really advertising my other channels here because I've never really done that. I've kind of just let them grow organically. So if you want to watch me play video games, I've had this channel for about 6 years. It's a pretty good community. We got 120,000 subscribers. We live stream literally everything. We have an amazing Star Wars Minecraft community. We play scary games. We react to stuff. Red Dead. We do a lot of Star Wars stuff as well. So if you want to go on there, man, I've been here for 5-6 years, and it's honestly a very funny channel, very like free form channel, kind of just do whatever I want. We also have my talking channel, which is Theory Talks. We talk about everything to do with psychology, anything to do with breakups, relationships, success, just finding your own path in life, or at least helping to do that. I don't have all the answers, but sometimes the chat does, and it's a really great community there. Also, my Dragon Ball channel, which I've been working on quite a bit, as well as I've partnered up with my editor, one of my editors, and on Fantasy Theory, which is an old channel that I have, about 60,000 subscribers. If you want to check that out, feel free to do so. I cover literally everything you see here, so anything that's not Star Wars. As well as, of course, which I was really into this when I was a kid, is Fast Facts. This is a channel that the premise behind this was essentially to give you guys daily facts about the most random things that are very interesting and make you more of an interesting person, I find. So we got, you know, top 10 penguins, you got world records, you got 5 inventions that can change our future. So I feel like these channels, you know, especially this one, Fast Facts, is definitely a big passion of mine to kind of spread cool, interesting information out there in the world. And if you learn one thing new, then hey, then I did my job. That, you know, then I'm happy. If you want to check out any of my channels, I love making content. I'm a content creator. I'm a YouTuber. So go ahead and feel free to do so.